Welcome back, guys, to the King Josiah TV podcast, where the show was created to educate, promote, and influence the kingdom of Jesus Christ in this world. I am your host, Josiah. And guys, before we get started, I need you to do me a huge favor. If you're listening on YouTube, go ahead and smash that subscribe button right below. And if you're listening audibly on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, go ahead and hit that follow button. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into today's show.
Flexing my God and all of his authority. Practice was preaching purity, priority. Can't conform to it, even his maturity. Choose to go that way, God has been restoring me. They grilling the boy, cause I won't let them George forming me. Try to put me in a box, I got off the ropes, I won't let them corner me. God has been warning me, telling me, tell his people ain't no room for lukewarming me. Order me, Lord, it be your will, it never was mine. Like Amazon Prime, his turnaround time of our prayers.
All right, guys, so we're gonna get into Terrence Crawford. Many of you know Terrence Crawford just beat Canelo just less than a few weeks ago. And he's from my hometown, Omaha, Nebraska. We from the same place. I've actually met Terrence Crawford a couple times. Met him at the gym, some other places. So he is from my hometown of Omaha, Nebraska. Congrats to him. But the reason why we're talking about him is not because, he beat Canelo and all that. And I would say I was not going for him. If I'm being honest, I was not going for him. I thought he was going to lose. He proved me wrong. So I give you that, Terrence. But I'm bringing him up today because actually he had a interview after the fight with Andrew Ward. And Andrew Ward, if we know, Andrew Ward is a Christian. He preaches and things at his church from time to time. But they were talking about something I felt was very important. Terrence Crawford and them got on a subject about being used as a tool for God, being used as an example for God. And I believe we all are tools for God. We're all being used by God. So you can either be used by God for his glory, because he's going to get his glory out of you, and you can live your life for him. Or you can live your life your own way and God still get the glory out of it and you end up in hell. So I do believe you're all tools for God, and God uses the ones that are the most unlikely and most unqualified. So I'm going to go ahead and without further ado, pull this clip up here. My boy Terrence.
Some like, man, I remember, about to quit boxing. Like boxing been a love-hate, relationship for years. Like all the things that I had to go through in this sport, it was just like, man, like, and you finally here, like, out of all the things that happened, none of it mattered because you did this. And that's why I was just like, man, you gotta thank God, because he the one that had it made for me and planned.
You kept saying that though before the fight. I heard you. I don't say
God orchestrates everything from the beginning to end. As he talked about Jeremiah, he knew the hairs on his head. He knew your steps before you ever walked into them. Your steps are ordered by the Lord. All of us are. All of our steps are ordered. You got to remember that.
you keep saying. You said it a couple times that it's already written.
It's already written.
Where did that come from? Like that mindset, and
it's just my mindset, And I remember, it's crazy because when I got shot, a couple of homies was like, scared and like, because a couple of homies, they had fought, and we knew my was gonna slide. I'm like, man, y'all niggas scared, man. Like, let's go. Like, what we doing? Like, if something gonna happen, it's gonna happen. We can't control it. That's how I always live my life. If something gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Like, me nor you can stop it from happening, no matter what. Boom, I get shot. Bam. Like, damn, my dumb ass got shot. I should have.
And that's the thing is, I don't know Terrence's actual spiritual beliefs, whether he's truly a Christian or not. I can't really say. He doesn't really speak on that too often, but I can say the principles that he's speaking on, the principle that he lives by, are true. That, God, our steps are ordered by the Lord. regardless of if you are a believer or not. God said, if you make your bed in hell, I'm with you. And so, yeah, we can't, a lot of people think, well, we can take the steering wheel of life and force it whatever direction we want. Sorry, we're not in control of this. Yes, we have free will. We can walk in the way that we want to walk, but your steps are already pre-ordered. And so why not follow the one that has the blueprint on that, God, that can help you walk through that?
Left, you know what I mean, get shot through my car. So on the stage, I'm like, it's already written. What's gonna happen is gonna happen. You can't stop it from happening. The fans can't fight for you. It's already written. It's destined. That, you know what I mean? I'm here for a reason. You know, it's not you, it's me. I'm highly favored. God is blessing me and showing me and using me, you know, as a tool that anything's possible if you just believe in him and have faith. So there's nothing that Canelo could do that night that, you know what I mean, was gonna change destiny. So I was just like, man, I let everybody know. You know, it's already written. Like, I'm not, that's why I wasn't nervous. That's why I wasn't worried, because I knew I prepared myself to the best of my abilities, you know, and that I have the skills and the ability to do anything I want in the ring.
Yeah, man, that's powerful, because you got to have the works part. You got to put your work in. You know, you can't be saying, nobody can say they believe in God, God gonna do this for me, and then you don't put the work in. Faith without works is dead.
Amen.
You know, you got to put both in. But to have faith in a power that's higher than you, it brings you a lot of peace, because you know I can only do so much, like you said. But then your mindset, though, that's the part that, you know, I think you can develop that over time, and I think that it can become stronger and stronger. But it's a lot of great athletes in the world that are maybe more skillful than you, skillful than different people, but they don't.
And, you know, that's the part that I want to hone on. They're going to kind of get into more athletic stuff and go more into that deeper in depth in that conversation. So I encourage you guys to go ahead and listen to that. Or it's called Art of Ward, is his podcast that Andre Ward has. But just to kind of speak on more what we're talking about here is that God can use anybody, and God uses usually the most unlikely of us to push his agenda and push what he wants. That's the whole point of me bringing up Terrence Crawford. And, you know, it just shows, and even that fight and where Terrence Crawford has came from. Terrence Crawford came from nothing. I mean, like I said, I'm from Omaha, Nebraska, too, and people think Nebraska is just cornfields and all that, but it's not. He comes from a very rough part of Omaha, North Omaha. Again, where you have shootings, you have drugs, you have gangs, there's poverty, all these sort of things, the worst of circumstances. He came from to being the best boxer in the world. And regardless of if Terrence Crawford decides to follow after God and be a beacon of faith and light for God, God is going to get his glory out of him. And so just like Terrence Crawford said, you can either be used for God or not, but God is going to get his glory. And so what I encourage us out of Terrence Crawford's story is to follow after God and allow God to use you as an instrument for his glory, to bring his kingdom about. That's the best way to go about it, not to use your tools and your giftings for your own personal glory or vendetta. The best way to walk that out and the best way to prosper the best is to do it the way God wants you to do it, and to allow God to move through you. And that it doesn't matter where you come from, and that God can use you. I want to use a verse here that I pulled up here just a second, that God delights in using the unlikely, the people that you wouldn't even think about taking the credit or seeking grandeur for themselves. He used the Magi. He used Herod in the Bible. He used the fishermen, and not the prophet and not the Pharisees. He used the murderer and the tent maker Paul to write the New Testament and the epistles, not the mega church pastor. God always uses the least of us. God uses the ones that you don't think he's going to use, the people that you think are crap, the people you think have bad morals, people that you think that are bad character, people that come from the worst, like Terrence Crawford. God uses the least likely of us. So don't think that your circumstances or what you've came from or what you've came out of, that God can't use you, that God can't put you up on a place and in front of people and audiences that you never thought that you could stand in front of just because you're a pedigree or where you came from. God is not a respecter of persons or a respecter of man. So just want to bring some highlight to that, give some encouragement, and as well, congrats to Bud Crawford for his fight again recently and all his successes. I wish him the best. And again, he's from my hometown, Omaha, Nebraska, so I had to give him a little shout out, throw him in the podcast today. But let's go. All right, guys. So I hope today's podcast, guys, we're going to wrap that up here. I hope today's podcast was encouraging to you. Again, guys, if you're listening audibly on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, I need you to go ahead and hit the follow button if you've enjoyed today's show. Guys, I know I brought up some controversial subjects, some things that might bring up conversation, things like that. Talk to me. Drop in the comments. Let me know what you think. Argue with me, debate with me. I'm cool. I'm down for it. Let's have the conversation. If you're listening on YouTube, go ahead and smash the subscribe button. Again, guys, this is EP number 38. I will see you again next week.
But my salvation on me like it's a helmet. The way it's to sin is death for send you to hell quick. Wanted to be all about me, God, I was selfish. I was rebellious.